morning and welcome to today's vlog. It is day, is it 2 or 3? Three of the cruise?
Monday.
It's Monday and we're in Haugesund today. We've just arrived. We arrived in at about 9 o'clock. We were up at about 7, so we were able to look out of the window and see like the little islands and stuff coming in, which was really cool. It was really cool to watch the boat come into the port as well, because it turned completely around in place, which was very cool to watch. We haven't got anything planned here. The walk into town is quite far, so if you want to go into town you do need to get a bus. It's about a 15-minute walk, but there are lots of buses. There's like a hop on hop off bus. There's lots of excursions and stuff. There's lots of places you can get to from the boat, which is really good, but at the minute we haven't got anything planned. We're going to go and have a look around the visitor centre and then go from there.
Wearing this Disney fan is caring, admiring her tats while she plays with all her cats. Her disability gives her superpower, agility to holiday and live the right way. A Stelosaurus.
So here we are, stepping off, our first time ever in Norway at Haugesund. There's a little shop there where it says Harbour Park. There's like a little shop and things in there you can go. Here's an obligatory giant deck chair picture and just the sheer scale of this boat. I don't think we realised until sort of we got off the boat here just how big it is. You can't really tell in Southampton because the gangway and the build, like the terminal's in the way, but just the sheer scale of it, enormous. So we are now on the land train, and this is a 70-minute round trip around Haugesund. It's got a 10-minute stop at a monument as well, which is quite cool. And how much was it? 300 krona? 700.
260 krona each.
It was 260 krona
360 krona.
360 krona each, which is, I think it said £26 on the sign.
I don't know, we'll come back to it.
Yeah. But we'll show you what this looks like, and I'm quite excited. It should be fun. We booked it and there was a train straight away, so we didn't have to wait for it, whereas the queue for the hop on hop off bus is massive.
The yard was founded in 1900 under the name Haugesund Mechanical Works. For the first 50 years, the yard dealt with ship repair. We're driving into Strand, Greenland, as early as 1872. The official name of the island is Hasseløy, but the town's population calls it Bakkerøy, the Baker's Island.
So these little land trains basically take you on a sightseeing tour of the city. There are a couple of stops. You stop at one of the big monuments and then they stop at the church as well. You can get off in both of those places and get back on again, or you can get off and get on a later bus.
Oh
yeah. There's a monument.
Hello, monument.
After our allotted 10 minutes at looking around the monument, we hopped back on the train and went to see the rest of what Haugesund had to offer in terms of sightseeing.
Mostly used by local passenger boats, but it is also a popular stop for leisure boats that like to visit the many restaurants along the quay. The narrow straight went to and from the city. As road connections improved and the airport opened, the inner quay's activity dwindled. Today the quay is
Yes! King of the train.
We do now have the entire train to ourselves. How are you finding the land train?
That's really cool, it's fun.
Yeah, and it seems a lot better. I get that the hop on hop off bus is lots of places to get on and off, but I thought this was a lot easier, and there was like no queue. We got straight on it, didn't we? We bought the tickets and then it was here.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was really good. It's a good tour. It tells you a lot. There's lots of interesting things to look at. But yeah, last time.
It's cool, it's fun.
So it's just stopped in the town where you can get off and you can either walk back to the boat from here, or you can get a later land train back. We're staying on it because we're lazy. We're going to go back for lunch. There's nothing really we want to do here. We just enjoyed the round trip. So yeah, we're just waiting for the little land train thingy to move off again. But it was good fun.
Yeah, quite informative. The tour guide, electronic voice coming from the roof.
She did get her lefts and rights mixed up though a minute ago, didn't she?
She did. Either that or the driver went the wrong way.
Yeah. So we've just been to the Horizons buffet for lunch. There was stacks of choice. It wasn't overly busy because I think a lot of people have gone off ship. It was quite busy because I think people come back for lunch, but it wasn't too bad. Plenty of choice, plenty of things to eat, plenty of gluten-free things, and like I said before, there will be a separate video for all the food because we've eaten loads of it. We're on the boat now for the rest of the afternoon. We don't fancy going back out, so we're just going to go have a look around. We're going to go to reception to post a postcard to my parents. And how cute are these stamps? So we bought these in the visitor centre, but I don't think you need stamps because you can send your postcards from the boat. You just have to take your postcard or post to reception, and then I think they charge the cost of the stamp to your cabin, I think, and then they just like post it from wherever. So we're going to go and do that now, and then we're going to go and have a look at our photos that we had taken last night, and then I think we're just going to have a look up on deck 18 because we haven't been there yet, and we're going to try and find the infinity pool because we haven't seen that yet either. So that's the plan for the afternoon. After we posted my postcard, we just decided to have a little explore around the ship. We hadn't really looked at all of it yet, so we thought we'd have a little look around. This is the casino, which we did venture in once, but not a clue how to work any of the machines, so didn't win anything. Fantastic. This is just one of the decks. I think it's 17, 16, 17 I think. I don't know. I've got no idea. But there's a nice infinity pool here, which is cute. And as you can see, it was pretty miserable, sort of grey weather by then, and it wasn't that great. There were still people in the hot tubs though. And then here's a little look out at the port as well. Very nice. And then we went to see if we could find some sports to partake in. Isn't it cheating if you move it closer? Huh? Isn't it cheating if you move it closer? You're supposed to hit the floor.
Well done. Playing hockey. Keep your arms straight.
It was starting to really rain by then, but we did have a quick look at the seaplane, which reminded me of Tintin for some reason. Love a seaplane. Never been on one. We decided to head inside and dry off a little bit, so we went over to Ripples where you can get lovely ice creams, and they have a handy allergens list which was really good. So obviously the cones aren't gluten-free, but they can put your scoops into a little pot for you. And yeah, some of these toppings are gluten-free, and like I said, all the allergens are listed, which was really great. So we got some ice cream, which actually was very nice. A little bit later on, we headed down to Brody's, which is the bar on ship, because they were having a little quiz. So we thought we would go and do a quiz before dinner. I don't think we did that badly.
In Monopoly, how many houses must be built on a property before a hotel can be purchased?
No, I'm 75% sure. So if you think something different, write something different.
Who were the winners of the 1978 FIFA World Cup? Number 13. What species of bird lives on every continent except Antarctica?
So after I thrashed Neil at the quiz, we went to locate our room on this tiny model of the boat. It's really cute. I love it. I wish there were tiny people inside of it. Our room is around there somewhere, next to that sort of longer balcony that sticks out on the 16th floor. And then we got in the queue for dining. You do all that on the app. It's pretty easy to use, and we didn't have to wait that long for a table. We decided to bag a table in the main dining room. I cannot remember which one, but they all serve the same menu, so it doesn't really matter. You can see here it's quite an extensive menu. It's a little bit hotel restaurant-y, but there's quite a decent gluten-free choice. Yeah, here's a little look around where we were. I think this one is on level 6. It's just along from Anderson's Bar, and it's at the very back of the boat. And I really felt the ship's movement in here. It wasn't a very pleasant experience. Yeah, which is maybe why I didn't enjoy the food very much. It was, like I said, it was a little bit a hotel restaurant, which was fine. It tasted all right. I got a gluten-free roll, which was fine. Yeah, the food was, yeah, it was what it was. It was, you know, it was all right. I've had better, I've had worse. That's all I can really say about it. The restaurant itself is really nice. I don't like how close the tables are to each other. I don't like how close together you are sat with people. Yeah, you can request a table for 2 or you can request to share one. Didn't really enjoy it.
Fine. Okay. Let's have a look what question is next. Cook 2, you eat 2. How many eggs do you have left? Time starts now.
Good evening. It is the end of our first port day, I guess. We're in Haugesund today, which you will have already seen. I've had a really nice day. We didn't do a lot this afternoon. I can't even remember what we did this afternoon. So after we went to Horizons for lunch, we had a walk around the ship. We didn't stay out for too long because it had started to sort of be quite drizzly rain, and it was just a bit damp. It wasn't very nice. So we are hoping that we get a better day so we can walk around more of the ship, especially sort of deck 18, because we didn't really see all of that. But that was nice. We sailed away just after it was after that. We sailed away just after 5, or just before 5, I think, because we were in Brodie's doing an individual quiz where we teamed against each other. Neil got 14 out of 20. I got 12 out of 20, which we thought was pretty poor until the person that won got 15 out of 20. So actually, I think 14 and 12 are quite respectable scores. After Brodie's, we hung around for a little while. We joined the virtual queue to go to Pearl, which is one of the main dining rooms, which we pre-booked my gluten-free meal this morning. For Pearl, you have to, I don't know if you have to, they like you to pre-book your gluten-free meals. And whilst we were in Pearl eating dinner, they came with tomorrow's menu to see if I wanted to pre-book tomorrow's menu. As it was, didn't really like the sound of anything on tomorrow's menu, so we've not bothered. We haven't really got a plan for tomorrow night yet, so we're just gonna decide tomorrow. But Pearl, main dining room, not for me.
Yeah.
Like Neil said, when we were in there, it's a dining room, it's not a restaurant, and to me it felt very much like you're in like a old-fashioned hotel almost. Like we used to go to the Queen's Hotel in Blackpool, and it felt a bit like you were sat in that dining room. The food was fine, it was all right, there was nothing wrong with it, it was edible. That sounds really bad. It was better than edible. The food was fine.
Pretty straightforward though, wasn't it?
Yeah, but it's very basic, straightforward food. I think it's for the people that like their food plain and straightforward with no frills, no fancy. And I think because we'd eaten in the Epicurean last night, it was quite it was very different, a very different experience all around. I don't know if I want to eat in a main dining room again, which is a shame because it's included in the price, and if you're not eating in the main dining room or the buffet, you are going to rack up that money because you're spending extra on food. So I get why people go to the main dining room, and there's nothing wrong with the food. It was just, I think we'd been to the Epicurean the night before and that was phenomenal. Anyway, after dinner we popped up to the Epicurean, funnily enough, because we've got an afternoon tea booked for Friday and we wanted to see if we could change the time. Unfortunately we couldn't. It's like a fixed time and you just all go at that time, so we couldn't change it, which is a bit of a shame, but it should be fine. And Neil's got a gym blending class, and it shouldn't clash with it too much, so it should be fine. We've already let them know there that I am gluten-free and they said it shouldn't be a problem, so that's great. Tomorrow we are in Olden, so yeah, I think we're looking forward to sailing into Olden in the morning. That should be really good. The other things we did this evening is we went around the duty-free shops. I got some lovely perfume, I got some new sunglasses. Neil tried to get a jumper but they didn't have his size left. And then we nipped over to the clubhouse where they were doing like the end of a quiz. It was called The Pinnacle, but it was basically like the 1% thing off of ITV. Is it called the 1%? 1% Club? 1%? Something like that. But it was basically a rip-off of that. And some little girl won, so that was good. And then just as we were sitting there, we had a drink, sat in there for a bit, and then the bingo was starting. So we've come back to the room. We were waiting around till 9:30 because I want to see what the late night snacks are in Horizons, and we're going to go and get some water and things in a little while, and then we're going to have an early night tonight because we want to get up to watch the sail into Olden in the morning, and then we will see you in the morning in Olden when we've got the Loen Skylift booked. Very exciting. So that was our day in Haugesund, well, our morning, because we were back on ship by lunchtime, but we've had a lovely day. I am very tired. I've done 11,491 steps today, which is, considering my average is usually about 3,500, my feet are pretty tired. Luckily we do have the wheelchair with us in case I need it, and I think by Thursday when we're in Stavanger, I think I am going to need my wheelchair. I'm doing alright at the minute. So yeah, we're going to have an early night, and we will see you in the morning. I happened to be awake in the very early hours of the morning as we approached the fjords, and I'm so glad I was awake, and I'm so glad that I got to see it. So this is a view of the TV screen that shows the front of the ship, so what the front of the boat is looking at. And then here's a little look at what it looked at like outside at that time in the morning. I didn't open the balcony because it was like 3 o'clock and Neil was asleep. We were up and awake pretty early because we had an excursion booked, and we decided to head to the quays for breakfast because I'd heard that you can get gluten-free pancakes. So that is what I had, some gluten-free pancakes and some bacon, and then Neil had some little bits and pieces from one of the other booths at the quays. The bacon was so good. I love crispy bacon, and you could pick, I think, from British bacon or American bacon, so like crispy or rubbish. Basically American bacon's crispy. Now, as I have said before, I will be talking about the food separately. This was gluten-free and it really wasn't very nice. We did go back later in the week to try it again just in case I had an off day, and Neil also tried like the proper not gluten-free version, and yeah, it wasn't great. So we then headed back to the cabin to get ourselves together. Here's a little look out of our window. The boat is just sort of turning around and popping itself into the port, which I will never get over watching. It's amazing how they maneuver these giant ships. I can't get over it. But look at that view. Look at the snow on the mountains and look at those houses. It's so green. It's so beautiful. Good morning. We are now in Olden. The boat is just moving into its parking space. That's our handy itinerary. Yeah, so the boat is just parking. We have got the Loen Skylift booked today. We've got a return and transfer tickets. I pre-booked it with P&O, which I know is more expensive, but as first-time cruisers, it was just easier for us to do it that way. There's no time, you can go whatever time you want. I think a lot of people go in the afternoon in the hopes that it's like the cloud is lifted a little bit and they do the Brixton Glacier first. We kind of just want the experience of the Skylift. The view is like a bonus, so we're not overly bothered, and we're going to go and get it done early so that it's not too busy. And we're hoping, because the weather is a little bit miserable this morning, people will maybe not do it till later, so fingers crossed it won't be too busy. After that, we haven't really got anything planned. I think we might have a little look around the port and the immediate vicinity of Olden, just see what's there. I think there's some markets and little shops and stuff where you can buy tat, like tourist tat, which I'm very excited about. So we're going to do that. And then this afternoon we've got a photo shoot booked, which I'm very excited about. We're also going to see the Fly Rights, which is one of the theatre shows in the Headliner Theatre, so we're going to do that tonight. And then we've got quite an early showing of that at 6:45, so we're going to get something to eat afterwards. We're thinking Glass House tonight, I think, because it's got tapas style stuff. Yeah, we've just had breakfast in the Keys. There was like an omelette station, scrambled eggs, pancakes, and then like a full Englishy sort of type bit. And then there was a place where you could get bread rolls and fruits and smoothies and stuff as well, and yogurt and that. I had gluten-free American style pancakes with crispy bacon. The bacon was lovely. The pancakes were a bit... I'm going to give them another go, because you do sometimes have a bad batch of pancakes, depends who makes them. So we're going to give that another go one day. But yeah, breakfast was fine. The Keys was really quiet. I don't know whether... we were there quite early, sort of just after 7. And I don't know whether it was quiet because we were early or quiet because it is generally quieter in the Keys. And we also tried late night snacks in the buffet last night. Big fan. So that is the plan at the moment. So come along with us for the rest of the day.
We're getting off and all good stuff.
It is what it is.
So it was all pretty seamless. You head off the boat, you head to the little tent, you collect your tickets, or you can buy your tickets depending on what you've done. They then direct you to a coach. The coach trip was 10-15 minutes, and as you could see, it's pretty wet and drizzly, but just look at that scenery. It's stunning, so beautiful. We timed it really well. It wasn't overly busy when we arrived, and we didn't have to wait too long to get on the next Skylift to head up. So yeah, it was all pretty seamless and easy.
Everyone has one ticket each in around.
Yeah. There's 3 sheep. There's 4 sheep. So we are at the Loen Skylift. I have seen 5 sheep, and then I looked at the view. Having a nice time?
That's good.
And Neil's found some pastries as well, so he's obviously very excited. How's your Loen Skylift pastry? There's a coffee.
Mmm.
Is it good?
Tasty.
We then headed back down to get our return bus home. Again, 10-15 minute ride. Very beautiful to look at. There's some paddle boarders in the water there, which was lovely. The Loen Skylift was amazing. Such a fantastic experience. I can't describe to you how beautiful it was up there. And if you're that way inclined, there's loads of hikes and walks and things you can do when you're up there as well as a little restaurant with a stunning view. And the return coach takes you right back to the port where all the shops are opposite the boat. So that was handy. We had some time to kill, so we decided to hop on a land train.
Responsibility for his congregation shouted out at top of his voice, "Out immediately! The church is going to fall down." And according to reliable sources, the priest was the first one out. But the church didn't fall down. But in order to be sure, these wires were attached to the tower and bolted in the ground. The melting begins, there are sometimes inundations which will overflow the fields of the farmers. The bear, she opened the window and blew a terrible sound.
So it is about 1 o'clock. We have just got back on the boat in Olden. We've just been on the Loen Skylift, which was amazing, really, really good. As we got off it at about 10:30, it was mad busy. The queue was huge. We were quite lucky. We were some of the first people up, I think, and we got on like the second coach that left from the cruise ship. And we were there quickly and we got on and we were up there very quickly, which was really good. But as I say, by the time we came back down, the queue was like all the way down the ramps and back out to the front of the shop, which is a big queue. It was huge, and I can imagine it gets really busy up there. We were quite lucky because there was lots of space to move around, but I could imagine if there's lots of people up there, pretty busy. So we booked a return transfer on that, so you just got on the coach to come back when you were done. And then when we got back to the cruise, there was like one of those land train tours going around. It was like an hour and 10-minute trip just around Olden to see some of the sights, so we did that. That was a lot of fun. Not as comfortable as yesterday's land train in Haugesund. It had, the guy that was driving was doing the like commentary, and that was a lot of fun. It really made, his local commentary really made the the trip. It was a lot of fun, and there were 2 stops on that with 10 minutes each. One was by Olden Lake, which was beautiful, and then one was by a bridge. I didn't catch all of the bridge story, but because his microphone thing cut out, but it seemed to be involving a man and a horse that died in an avalanche. I don't know if the 2 things were related, but it was a nice bridge. There were a lot of people at that bridge though. There were a couple of buses and another land train stopped at that bridge, so it was really busy. It's very busy to walk across the bridge. You couldn't really get on the bridge properly because it was that busy, but it was really nice. Hour and 10 minutes round trip to see Olden. Very nice. The weather is not great today. It's a bit drizzly. It's not particularly cold, but it was cold up at the top of the Skylift, but there is also snow up there, so obviously it's colder. We're going to go and get some lunch now, and then keep our fingers crossed that it does stop raining a bit, because we're supposed to be doing a photo shoot later, and what I had planned to wear I don't think I'm going to be able to wear now, but we'll see. So we're going to go and get some lunch, and we'll see you later. So we popped back to the quays for lunch. Neil had that Asian dish, we had some salady bits, a couple of desserts, and then we headed down to the little cafe in the atrium that serves Costa, and this amazing Black Forest mousse cake thing was gluten-free. I ate about 5 of these on our cruise because they were so flippin' nice. Really enjoyed them, highly recommend. Neil read the sort of daily newspaper that's on offer. You can just grab that from the cafe, and it changes every day. We then went and had a look in the library, sat there for a little bit, had a look at the books. We then headed into the atrium for a little look around, by which time it wasn't far off sail away, so we were sort of hanging around looking for that. We did decide to go back to the room and get changed, and here's a little view. This is through the atrium windows, and then this is from our balcony, just a little view. It stopped raining, but it was pretty murky. Whilst we were stood here on the balcony though, we did notice that there were fish. I was absolutely dying to see a whale, and as you could see from my land train trip earlier, I did see a bunch of cows, and I saw a dog earlier in the day, so I really wanted to get the hat trick and see a whale. Sadly, no whales, but we did see this little fish. How cool is that? No idea what kind of fish they are. Herrings, maybe? I don't know. And then it was time to sail away. We then had an early showing for the theatre. We were going to see the Fly-Rite, so we headed over to the theatre to watch the show. And this is a little look at what the theatre looks like. It's a very nice theatre.
So we're in the Headliners, called Headliners?
Yep.
We're in the Headliners theatre to watch the Fly-Rite, and we're just going to do a quick prediction of what we think this 3-piece soul band is going to sing. I think they're going to sing My Girl.
I think, Isn't She Lovely?
Heard It Through the Grapevine. Whatever song Gold Digger samples.
Yeah,
like,
what was it? I can't remember what it was.
I can't remember what it's called either.
Ray Charles one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, what's that one that they always play on Magic at the Musicals that's from the Temptations musical?
Today.
Something from the Temptations.
Yeah. And Tracks of My Tears.
Yeah.
So after the theatre show, we headed to the Emerald Bar, which actually quickly became one of our favourite places on the ship. The cocktails here are amazing. How cool is this smoky Negroni thing? Fabulous. And then my cocktail has a big load of candy floss on the top, which was just so cool. So we sat in the Emerald Bar for a little while. We sat in the Emerald Bar for a little while trying to get a reservation for the Glass House, but sadly nothing came up, so in the end we decided to head up to the buffet. I'm glad we did, because I had prawns and they were amazing. The rain sort of cleared up as we were eating dinner, so we decided to head out onto deck 18 for a little look, and it's beautiful. Look at that sunset. Well, it's not really a sunset, the sun doesn't set, but it was very windy.
Yeah.
it is now just before 10 p.m. It is still very much daylight outside. It's very surreal. Like when I woke up this morning at 3:40, it was light outside. It was very strange. It's, I don't know, I kind of don't feel tired or sleepy at all unless we completely close the curtains and make it dark in here, because it's just daylight outside. Anyway, today we were in Olden for the day. It's really beautiful. We were both saying earlier that I don't think we've been anywhere as beautiful as this. It's lovely. We did the Loen Skylift, which was fantastic. Really enjoyed that. And then we went on the little land train thing. That was really cool. And then what have we done today? Oh, we went to the fly rights, which, if you saw our predictions earlier, we talked. So before we recorded it, we talked about some others that we didn't then mention in the recording, but they did play, I think, 3 of the ones we mentioned. So End of the Road by Boyz II Men, which, having seen the actual Boyz II Men perform live, the fly rights were fine, but they are not Boyz II Men.
And 2 Stevie Wonder ones.
And yeah, 2 Stevie Wonder ones as well. And Under the Boardwalk, I said they would do Under the Boardwalk, and they did that. And I said they'd do something by the Drifters, and they did. It was fine. There was nothing wrong with the show. They were good. They were very much performing to their target audience. And this, I sound very privileged, but we are very privileged to have been to a lot of shows and a lot of theatre shows and a lot of productions and musical productions and things. And that wasn't in the same league. It was fine. There was nothing wrong with it. It was good fun. It was silly. The boys, I couldn't tell, were they boys or men? It was hard to tell. It was hard to gauge how young they were. The 3 chaps on stage were very funny, very good at the sort of audience participation thing, trying to get people involved. And I think it did take the crowd a little bit to warm up to them. But overall, they were fine. There was absolutely nothing wrong with the performance. And for an included free show that you could watch, I think 3 times a night, 3 times in a week, is great. They were saying this was their last show on Iona, so I don't know how long they do. I don't know. People only do like a week at a time. I don't know how. If you know how these sorts of things work, let me know. I'm interested to know. I'm also interested to know how they get the water on board. Like, do they start off with enough water for everybody for the whole trip, or do they have to refill with water at each port, or do they pump up water from the sea and desalinate it? So if you know, let me know, because I'm interested. So after that, we tried to join a couple of walk-up lists, but everything was pretty busy. So we just went to the buffet in the end, and actually that was great. We both really enjoyed what we ate in the buffet. We've had a couple of cocktails. We went to the Emerald Bar for some very fun cocktails. There's one more cocktail I want to try in there, which comes in a flamingo. So even if it's gross, it comes in a flamingo. I might try to steal the cup. No, they'll know, won't they? We also had our photo shoot tonight, which was a lot of very silly fun. Unfortunately, the weather was pretty grim, so I couldn't wear what I was planning to wear, but I think I scrubbed up all right in the end, and Neil looked lovely. And Neil's seen some of the photos and assures me that they're very nice. So fingers crossed there are some nice photos. I think they're going to be expensive, because we just went and favourited all of our formal night photos, and I think it's about 100 quid for 10 photos, but that doesn't include the digital versions. At 120 quid for
125 quid for the 10 photos and 25 extra, I think.
So it was 125 quid.
It was about 125 quid.
Yeah, it was about 125 quid for the photos and the digital version of the photos. 10 photos. So we favourited some of them. We probably favourited about 10, to be honest. And a couple we ummed and ahed about. But we're going back to the photo guy, because he did the big sell, and he continues to do the big sell, and he's going to edit the photos from the photo shoot. Hopefully Photoshop me thinner, fingers crossed. And then he's going to sell us like a big package of photos, I think, for probably quite a lot of money. But we'll see. We do have a voucher for a free photo, so as part of the birthday package that I got for Neil, we've got one free voucher for one free photo, so we can at least get one photo. And that is it. That is a wrap on the last 2 days in Haugesund and Olden. We're off to Flom. We're off to Flom tomorrow, so there'll be a new video for that. But as always, thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.